Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the book summary series. Today, we are going to be discussing a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. So, basically, I can say that this is a management book and it was written in the early 2000s. It is based on a research and analysis of almost about 28 companies that made the transition from what we can call good to great over a 30-year period. Now, why do I feel the need to discuss this book summary today? Because we are living in a world of startups and unicorns, and this book highlights some very interesting topics about how companies become great. So if you have a friend or a family member who is into a startup, or you yourself want to start something, I think this book can give you some great insights on where to begin and how to move, and how to align yourselves when you're not finding ways around difficulties or problems. So it has about 9 chapters. The first chapter talks about something called good is the enemy of great. So it's basically focusing on how mediocrity can actually kill excellence. The chapter begins with this concept, and it shows that most companies can be good, but only some of them become great. And the author argues that it's not enough for companies to be just profitable and just mean their business. They actually need to strive for this greatness in order to go ahead. He also introduces a concept called level 5 leadership, which he believes is essential for companies to become great. And then the next chapter is all about this level 5 leadership, wherein he's explaining how it is a combination of personal humility and professional will. So he tries to say, or rather he believes that level 5 leaders are people who are more effective than they are charming or charismatic, uh, than even celebrities or political leaders who have popularity, because they will put companies interests ahead of their own interests. And it's very important, if you read his book you realize it's very important that you have the right kind of people working for your company, because if the people are doing just a job, they will not align themselves to the values and mission of the company. But if you have people who are proactive and who take initiative, and who align themselves to your company's vision and mission, they work towards a common goal with you, and so the company moves forward at a much faster rate than your peers. Then in chapter 3 he talks about how to go get these right people. Why is it important to actually have the right people in your company before you actually decide where your company is going to go in terms of business? He puts this argument forward that companies should prioritize the hiring, and make it a very important or critical aspect to ensure that in all the right positions, for leading, for management, making business decisions, you have the right kind of people. Again, because if you don't have the right kind of people in the right places in your company, you are not going to be on the pathway to greatness. Then he talks about something called confronting brutal facts, and still having faith in your vision mission. So what does he mean by that? He takes examples of two giants, two companies, and explains how in the same market one of them decided to go by with the business plan that worked for them in the past. However, the other realized that the market is changing and the customers are asking for something different. And because they adapted to this change or requirement or needs of their customers, this company actually went ahead and became great in business. However, the other one lost out in the race. So he says that you need to confront your facts even if they are hurting you and the present moment. In the future aspect of business, it actually can help you become great. Then we move on to chapter 5, where he's discussing this very important concept, which he calls the hedgehog concept. So, simplifying it within the three circles. So, you can, if I have to shorten it or simplify for you right now, I'll say it's like the ikigai for a company. So, in his hedgehog concept, the idea is that companies should focus on what they are passionate about, what can they be best in the world at, and what drives their economic engine. See, that's why I said it's something like an ikigai for the company as an entity. And in this concept, he's arguing that company need to focus on this a lot more if they want to become great, because obviously these three drivers play a very crucial role. Then in the next chapter, he talks about something very interesting, that is the having a culture of discipline. So if you have the right kind of people in your company who are self disciplined and self motivated, you would not require to have a strong hierarchy or policies which need hierarchy in order for you to have business processes sorted. If you have the right people, they will be in discipline, and then you can focus more on the strategical part of the business rather than the hierarchical part, which most companies get lost in just in order to operate. So he argues that they should have a stop doing list to eliminate distractions and focus on what is actually important. Then in chapter 7, he talks about technology accelerators, which is like what a company uses to progress or amplify in its core strategy. He also says that it's not necessary for you to embrace a technology as a company if it's not aligning with your core values or just because it's trending. You need to see where and how this technology is going to align with your company's values, and only then you should merge, or you should take embrace the technological adaptation, or new technology should be incorporated in your business area. So it cannot be a solution to your business problem. He says don't take technology to be a solution to your business problem, it has to add on to help in your business. So you need to identify how it's aligning. Then in chapter 8, he talks about this concept of having small and incremental changes to build up on the momentum. And he talks about how companies have in the past, have gone through the process of mergers and acquisitions to just make it big in a short time. However, it does not work for everyone, and he calls something like a flywheel and doom loop. The flywheel concept is based on the idea that companies should focus on the small incrementations and create momentum, and the doom loop, on the other hand, is like a cycle of repeated failures that can actually help you fail miserably. So he tries to say in this chapter that the companies or your businesses should focus on the flywheel pattern rather than going in the doom loop. And he refers these acquisitions and mergers as a part of these concept. Then in the last chapter, he is telling you how to be good, how to be great from good, to build your company in such a way that it become something that lasts. So he includes he compares this his own previous book in this chapter, and he argues that some things that become great have traits that are in common, which include something like a culture of discipline, focus on a hedgehog concept, importance of sustainability and long term success. That's what is going to make you great. So you can say that if I have to now just say what this book is all about, and the key takeaways from this book could be of leadership, because he emphasizes how great companies need to have people who can be self motivated and be great leaders by themselves without any external stimuli. So they are interested and aligned with the company's core values. So that's the way he's talking about leadership, and that's something you can also think on in your professional setting. Are you being a level 5 leader? Then another key takeaway would be that great companies will have a culture of discipline of its own. So they don't need external drivers to maintain hierarchies, and hierarchies are not really necessarily needed for operations. If you have good teams, you can actually avoid a lot of operational hierarchy that takes away a lot of time, and put that time and resources into making strategies. So these companies who've been great have had systems of checks and balances that have internally helped them grow with their personnel in terms of discipline and culture. Then this book also highlights the importance of being employees having the necessary skills. Also, like, it can't be just that they are motivated, they need to have the right knowledge in order to be taking business decisions and ownerships that matter at work. Then another takeaway could be the importance of facing facts and your own truth as a business. Just because you don't think this is right does not mean it's going to not affect your business. So you need to see that even if it's not comfortable, it might be something that you need to face now in order to be present a few years later in terms of a long term success or sustainability. You need to face the facts right now and make changes to take the advantage of the upcoming opportunity. So lastly, I'll say that yeah, he says this importance of finding the hedgehog concept, whereas as an entity the company is looking for the correct intersection of these three circles that I've mentioned: what you're passionate about, what you can do best in the world, and what is driving your economic engine. So all great companies have a very clear understanding of all these three drivers. So this book is a kind of like a roadmap for companies and entities that aspire to become great. So that's all for today's summary. I hope you liked this one. It was a really inspiring book, and if you've not read it and you feel that you want to go into more details, please go ahead and read the book. Until next time, thank you so much for listening in. Goodbye and take care.